In this video we're going to be having a look at questionnaires. These are a really common topic showing up in both the higher and foundation tier exams. So let's have a look at one. George wants to find out how many emergencies there are in a hospital, and he uses the following question. How many emergencies have there been? And he gives some response boxes here. So this would typically be where somebody would put a cross depending on what their answer is. Now, the first thing we need to criticise on this is the thing that George has done wrong is actually in the question. How many emergencies have there been? George doesn't specify a time frame for this. So is that emergencies today, in a week, in a month? Is this emergencies forever? He needs to be much more specific and include a time frame on this question. That's the first thing you want to look out for. The remaining two things that we're going to talk about both link to the response boxes below. So, looking at these response boxes, if I knew that there'd been 2 emergencies, which box would I tick? 0 to 2 or 2 to 4? And this is George's second mistake. What he's got is response boxes which overlap. And this happens more than once throughout this problem. So make sure that your response boxes are very, very clear and have no overlap. The third thing that is done wrong is what happens if there were 9 emergencies, or 10, or 100? George hasn't covered every single option on this, and he needs to make sure that his options include all of the possibilities. So 9, 10, 100, a million emergencies. There's got to be some option that you can tick if there's been greater than 8 emergencies. Just as a slight amendment to this, if George had restructured his question slightly, so it now reads how many emergencies have there been today, which is good because he's included a time frame, but look at the response box options that he's given. What problems can you see coming out from this? For example, what's more, some or a few? And exactly what is some? What does that even mean? So what George has done here is his response options are actually too vague. You need to be very, very specific, and it's always better to stick with numbers for this. Here's a question for you to have a go at. Pause the video here. What you're going to be looking for is there are 2 criticisms of this question which are valid. I've given 4 below. Choose which 2 are the valid criticisms. Pause the video here, hit play when you're ready for the answer. Okay, in Helen's question then, we can see that the 2 problems are there are overlapping response boxes and it doesn't include all of the possibilities. Now you might be looking at the end and thinking, well, it does include 7 plus, but if you look down at the other end, there's no option for 0. So what if there were no homeworks missed? So I don't include all of the possible options there. Question number 2. Same deal again. Pause the video here. Look for 2 of the valid criticisms from the list of 4 below. Hit play when you're ready for the answer. Okay, in Gareth's question, a couple of things that he's missing is there's no time frame on the question. How many times do you visit the library in a week, in a month, in a year? And his response boxes overlap again. So for example, if I visited the library 4 times, I don't know which box to tick because 4 appears in 2. Question number 3. Pause the video here, hit play when you're ready to have a go at the answers. Okay, in Andy's question about the number of times people visit the cinema in a particular city, the 2 questions which are valid are there is no time frame on the question and the options do not include all possibilities. Again, for a similar reason to what we discussed earlier, although he does include 10 plus, he doesn't include an option for those people who don't go to the cinema to watch a film, so there wouldn't be anywhere for them to tick. Thanks for listening to this video. There'll be 2 more in this series on questionnaires.